Hello viewers and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV, your destination for discussions on politics, policy and governance. I am Hamza Idris. Of course, tonight we delve into the recurring Boko Haram elements on Nigerian troops, their attacks, of course, routine insurgency in the northeast, especially in parts of Borno and Yobe State. Recently, over 20 soldiers, quite a number of civilian JTF were killed by the terrorists in Borno and Yobe State border. This is actually coming days after the so-called degraded Boko Haram elements launched suicide and drone attacks on some communities near the state capital, killing scores of people. The recent attacks, including the one led to the killing of over 40 farmers in Baga, have raised questions on the potency and capabilities of the Boko Haram elements to carry out deadly attacks despite repeated claims by authorities that they have been decimated and degraded. I will also discuss the submissions of panelists on the session titled Building Viable Political Culture and Political Parties to Foster Competitive Politics at a two-day national conference on strengthening democracy in Nigeria. It held here in Abuja. And to help us analyze these issues and others, we have in the studio, of course, Malam Yusuf Zango. He is the head of the opinion desk of the Daily Trust and our in-house analyst and a former editor-in-chief of the news agency of Nigeria. And we'll also, of course, be joined by Dr. Sani Aliyu, who is a security analyst. But we'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. As I said earlier, we have in the studio Dr. Sani Aliyu, Commander General, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization. And of course, Mala Yusuf Zango, who is our opinion desk editor and former editor-in-chief of News Agency of Nigeria. Before we delve into the conversation proper, here are some tidbits. No fewer than 20 gun-wielding bandits attacked Chikakore community in Kubwa in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on Sunday evening, kidnapping 5 residents, including an entire family. The attackers reportedly invaded the health center extension axis of Chikakore around 11 p.m., forcing themselves into the houses of their victims, including a southwestern Adesian Akiropo. They kidnapped Akiropo, his wife, and his son, as well as their visitor. The bandits then took away another neighbor to make 5 persons. And elsewhere, the Kano State Police Command has arrested 1 suspect and recovered an improvised explosive device, as IED, in connection with a suspected terrorist plot to attack the state. The mastermind of the plot, however, allegedly fled to Cameroon, according to authorities. Commissioner of Police Salman Garba made the announcement on Monday during a parade of suspects at the Bombay Police Headquarters. He revealed that the mastermind, who had arrived in Kano from Chad, had been hiding in the city, particularly around the venue of the Tijaniya program. CP Garba explained that upon receiving an intelligence report, the police issued a security alert to the public and deployed personnel to secure the venue of the Tijaniya Maulud event. The suspect says the heightened security fled to Cameroon while another individual was arrested. Yes, Doctor, I think this is the area we have to start with you, especially the attack by bandits in Kubwa, near Abuja, cutting away a whole family, neighbors and all that. And you are the commander of Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization. Who do you blame for this?
Well, we will blame the what we call the regular security agencies, or the security agencies of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because amongst what we have been constantly warning them about is that some flash areas, some areas we have identified that these bandits have already occupied. Chikoreke is among those areas that we have highlighted earlier. Oh. And so, like we're saying, Abuja needs to be properly secured. And it makes me sick in my heart that we know all these things and we report to the authorities. We are discussing with the authorities, But nothing is done about it. It's very sickening. Honestly, it makes me feel as if the whole thing is a game plan. Because for a federal capital of the most populous black nation in the world, a country with over 200 million people, the capital of Abuja is like the capital of African city. Let's take Africa as a city. Abuja is the capital of Africa. And we can allow such thing to be happening within the parameters of Abuja. This is not acceptable. It is disheartening and very painful.
All right, your take. Yusuf.
It's quite unfortunate that such thing is happening, and it came just after the police had announced some hotspots around the city, and they warned that people should not be around. And suddenly, I think definitely this new issue will raise a lot of tension among the residents, because we're not talking of telephone snatchers or horse snatchers. We're talking of bandits invading the capital city. And this thing has been going on for some time now. In the last 6 months or so, we have seen similar incidents around Bari axis, and still Kuba is still in Bari local government. So I think it is something that calls for a new strategy by relevant security agencies to see how to, because by the time this thing keeps occurring in the capital city of the Federal Republic, other Nigerians will feel, look, what will happen if it comes to us? And it has been happening around in some areas, but it is coming gradually to take over almost everywhere in the country. So it's something that is a very disturbing issue for residents. And if the initiative is avoid these 10 hotspots, now even within your home, you are not secure. So why are you going to? So I think it calls for the relevant security agencies to double up and see how they can secure the...
Dr. Sani, where are they taking these people? Because when you look at the map of Abuja, for you to... Of course, we have bushes, we have rocks, mountains, and all that. But is it really difficult to secure a capital city as important?
It is not difficult. It is not difficult at all. If only the Nigerian security agency will civilize up a little bit to know that they need a lot of collaborations to fight and ensure that the capital city is safe goes beyond kinetic. There is non-kinetic aspect that have not been deployed. There is collaboration between the locals that is not properly utilized. There is collaboration amongst organizations, paramilitary organizations, voluntary organizations that are available with a lot of membership that they need to tap into their current so that they will be able to safeguard lives and properties of the nation, not only in Abuja, but the whole country. The security agency are not utilizing that. This organization, including myself, used to take ourselves to the authorities
for collaboration,
to tell them this. In fact, not even collaboration, give them early informations.
Because you have them.
Yes, on this television about a month ago, the last time I was here, I raised a red flag, and it happened in Buhari again. And it was...
So that time you made mention that...
I raised a red flag that the rail is not safe. And it happened on Kaduna-Abuja Road thereafter. So, you see, the issue is, all these places, we have a lot of information regarding the areas that these guys are operating at. In fact, they are surrounding a lot of places here.
And the places have not been raided?
No, nothing has been done about it. So when people like us are trying to see that we connect all the dots so that Abuja will be called the most secured place, at least in Africa, and the security agencies are not giving us that necessary cooperation, then it's becoming a serious problem. And I will tell you, the police cannot be everywhere at the same time. The military cannot be everywhere at the same time. including the DSS, including all the constitutionally mandated agencies cannot be everywhere at the same time. There are people that you see as if they are irrelevant,
but
they are very, very relevant.
Okay, finally on this, Yusuf Zango, I had an interaction long ago, and I think I cited it on this program with former NSO, that is Nigerian Security Organization, the precursor of DSS. Yes, and he said there is no political word in Nigeria that you don't have somebody that has direct or indirect connection with the security architecture. If you don't have police, you have civil defense or military, including maybe army, air force, or navy. Or, in fact, he said every political word, you have somebody who has connection with, the security system. But why is it difficult for them to come together and secure the whole country, not necessarily Abuja?
Well, I think it has to do with the personalities heading these organizations. We have seen, even within the police, we have seen how the IGs, or not the present IGs, the former IGs, who have been battling with the Police Service Commission over recruitment of constables. So if it starts from there, you see there is a problem. That what it means. You always, we have been having reports about like disagreements between the Army and the Air Force. You remember the Tudumbiri issue where they said it was the Army that bombed the place and they didn't receive it. All those kind of things happen. I think that's the essence of why we have the Office of the National Security Advisor. To serve as a coordinating rallying point for all the security agencies. So that I think the earlier we have this and make it robust, the better for everybody. I think also there is need to just read the Riot Act even for the military. Where this is a country where we have had a situation in the past where the tenure of service chiefs was extended. Even when there was a lot of cries that, look, we have had enough of them.
Maybe for political experience.
Maybe for political reasons.
Okay.
So I think it's something that the National Security Advisor must come in and do.
Now, closely related to this is the Kano incident, Dr. Sani. On Friday, the police raised the red flag that they had prior information that some terrorists will bomb many parts of Kano, including the Sani Abacha Stadium, where they wanted to hold the Maulud. But it appeared that the whole thing was politicized, and people were even calling out the police. But here we are today, the police saying that the prime suspect has fled to Cameroon. What is your take on this?
Well, first of all, I will, for even not allowing it to happen, I will give a kudos to the Nigerian police.
But do you believe in the first place that there was actually...
Whether it's not a matter of believing.
Okay.
Whatever information you get, especially in terms of suicide bombing or any such thing that is going to bring threat to people's life, whether false, provided that you take action and make sure that that thing, the total area is cordoned, you have to take a very first step, because sometimes lack of believing brings a lot of issues. You could remember at the earlier part of the Boko Haram issue, President Jonathan never believed that there was Boko Haram by his body movement until such a time when there was the UN building, at the police headquarters, and then he started saying, oh, it is not about the Maiduguri issue, it's a very serious issue. So you don't, within the security palace, you don't take any information for granted. Taking information for granted makes Nigerian security system reactional, not proactive.
All right, Yusuf Zango, I want you to come in here. Why do you think the people of Kano, especially, and many others, because when you gauge the mood on social media, many did not believe that alarm. They say it was a false alarm from the police, just to for political reasons, that some powerful forces in Abuja don't want that Maulud to happen because they are not in good terms with Emir Sunusi, they are not in good terms with Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf and all.
I think it could be a valid point because the antecedents of the police before that incident happened showed that there had been that. They tended to side with one of the contending parties. So it was, and you know, the Kano is a place where everything could be turned into politics. But what it leaves, I think, to me, is that for every of this kind of event happening, we should draw a lesson. That means that the police need to work on the side of the people to regain that confidence, to see to it that they come out clean and apolitical. That's very, very important for them because, as he said, you don't treat any information as security information with levity. So it could have happened. But the problem is that over time, the police had left itself to be blamed or accused of taking side. So I think this should serve as a lesson to police to correct that image so that they carry everybody along. Security is everybody's business.
It's like Dr.
Yes,
Sani
in addition to what he's saying, in collaborating his point, is that this aspect he just mentioned has affected a great deal the relationship between the people, the public, and the Nigerian police in terms of information. Because it is true that the Nigerian police need to go professional, seriously going professional, and start dabbling into menial and other unprofessional things. I remember in a case situation about 6-7 years ago in this country when the Boko Haram issue was hitting the country up, and a boy of mine discovered a place, a fake church, so to call, in Lagos, where IEDs have been manufactured, and we took up the matter.
Okay, your organization?
Yes, my organization took up the matter and went to see a police DPO, and he gave them some detached policemen to go and find out the truth. By the time they got there, they knocked at the door of the church, and a man came out with his cassock, this dress. I said, "What are you looking for?" He said, "These guys told us that you people are doing bomb here." How can a policeman talk very unprofessional like that? Indicting my boy.
Exactly.
And the man said, "Okay, come inside. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that." So they went inside and checked. They didn't even go into the building. They now came out and said, "You said you are carrying wrong information to us. This wrong information." So my boy called me and said, "No, go and tell the DPO. The DPO must follow you there. The DPOs must follow you." And they followed them there only to go and find created IEDs in cartons in Lagos. IEDs. So you see, the unfortunate aspect is that people that give you information, you let them out to become target they become target. If you go and give the policeman information today regarding a bandit, and he wants to relate that information, and you say, "Okay, this is a person that gave us that information that you are a bandit," then how do you think that person will be safe?
These
are the things that cause this mistrust between the citizens and the police. Otherwise, we are supposed to be friends. Police are supposed to be our friends, not our enemies. But Nigerian police are afraid to give police information because of their own safety.
Yeah.
So the police authorities, the IG, if he's listening to this program, must take you to note that he needs to professionalize his police force so that the police will know how to relate and deal with the civil society.
And they can get the buy-in of the
citizens so that they can get the informations that they are not getting now, because a lot of informations are out there that people are afraid to give to the police those information.
Because they are afraid of their life.
Because they feel they compromise. Yes,
okay, Yusuf Zango, now let's move to the disturbing scenario in Borno. What we reported in the newspaper today, and of course across our platforms, the killing of over 20 soldiers, around the triangle in Sambisa Forest when the military were advancing. Is this problem not really dragging more than necessary?
people are bound to think along that line, given that successively within a short time we have had incidents like that. You remember the killing of the soldiers, I think, Sabangari. Then we had the killing
Two instances.
Yeah, we had the killing of the farmers. Then suddenly this one coming in. And you begin to wonder, are we having a resurgence of this Boko Haram when we were told that we have technically defeated them? And people are beginning to mock even that claim. What it means is that what people were expecting or have been expecting is the fact that, look, since we have gotten them to a corner, why not go and finish up the whole issue? I remember there was a report which said the Chadian government amassed about 2,000 of their troops along our border. And what happened was that after that, they started moving into Nigeria. Why couldn't we do the same thing? So that we, together with the Chadian soldiers, we put them in a corner and finish them off. Because the moment you relax, your enemy, these are people who receive international support. The ISWA is beyond Nigeria. It's beyond West Africa. It has branches all over the world, you can see. So unless you try to corner them and finish them off, I think we will continue. And this one it has an effect. It kills the morale of your soldiers, definitely. Then you lose the support of the citizenry. First, those who are just around that area, because they will feel exposed, and subsequently even other Nigerians will feel the same.
Dr. Sani, you are a counter-terrorism expert, and earlier you made mention that if leadership does not believe in something, the tendency is that you see serious problem around it. Now, before 2014, the whole, large swaths of territory around Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa were taken away by the Boko Haram. The feelers we got recently was that the operations carried out by these terrorists in the last couple of weeks around Damboa, Sabangida, and all that was what emboldens them, because they were able to amass a cache of arms, which they are now redeploying on our troops. Who should we take the blame to now? The capacity for the terrorists to go and attack formation.
I thank you so very much for that last question. Who do we blame? Nobody. Nobody. The military's purview is not counter-terrorism. It's to protect the territorial integrity of our nation. The
How do you mean?
Yes. You see, even in America, you have to define your securities, because as it is now, nobody can take blame. You cannot hold anybody responsible for actions or inactions in terms of military operation, in terms of fighting terrorism in this country.
The security architecture in
there is a missing link. There is the disconnect. It is one thing to win a war. It is another thing to maintain peace. Now, when 9/11 happened in America, you will all witness that the whole military, the Marine, the Air Force, everybody collapsed to make sure that they created that that peace required, that peace required within the period. And immediately they went back to their drawing board. Immediately.
After they were able
immediately
to
after they recover that the first peace and maintain that order, they quickly went back to their drawing board and came up with what we call Homeland Security. When the military have delivered, the Homeland Security ensured there is maintenance of peace and non-reoccurrence of such attack again in the state of America. You can see before this administration, and in fact, when Buhari took over, Nigeria was the third most terrorized country in the world, third most impacted nation in terms of terrorist attack in the world. Buhari came and did all he could. He managed to bring Nigeria to 8th position, which was a very good trial within the 8 years he served.
So on the average, every year, he was taking one step.
One step. So in 8 years, he was able to bring Nigeria to 8th position. And so you see, everybody now starts seeing as if all is over. Meanwhile, nothing has. You cannot end it. You can only manage this to a very curtailable situation. To end terrorism anywhere in the world, you are deceiving yourself because, like he said, they are international, they are transnational, they are national, they are local. They have their cells around the globe. From Nigerian connectivity to Chad, connectivity to Cameroon, to Burkina Faso, to Mali, and so on and so forth. And so it will take you to create another different organization, not the military alone. And that organization will be saddled with the responsibility to ensure that all the supply chains and channels, the sponsorship, the banking they are using, the financial support they are receiving, all the routines are identified and dealt with immediately. You cannot stop this thing. You can only mitigate it to a very bearable level. And so, as it is today, Nigeria doesn't have any organization or agency that is dedicated, mandated by our constitution, a specialized institution to counter terrorism.
Don't you think police should do that?
There is nowhere in the world that police counter terrorism. I told you just now that America has one of the best police we are talking about around the globe. But yet they went back to their drawing board and come up with what's called Homeland Security, a specialized agency for countering terrorism. So this is what we are supposed to do. If Tinubu is not advised like that, I am calling on Tinubu again. For each program I attend on any television, I call on Tinubu and the National Security Advisor that the need for us to create another agency, a specialized agency dedicated to counter terrorism and insurgency in Nigeria is better be done now, because we will always see the resurgence of all these attacks. And if you think that the military has succeeded doing it, yes, they have degraded them, of course, yes. But who maintains the peace? Who maintains the victory? Who ensure that there is no reoccurrence? How do you study them? How do you follow them up? You need to be pursuing them as though a hunter is pursuing a rat, or hunting the animals in the bush. So this is a situation that we must be on top of our game at any point in time, no lax time.
Okay, Yusuf Zango, I don't know whether you're on the same page with Dr. Sani on having a specialized group of maybe security experts that will consolidate, because what he's trying to say is if the military, if they have done their own part of recovering territories and all that, they should go back to their barracks. But then police or civil defense, they are not specialized in managing counter-terrorism activities.
The impression they give us of how they have been giving us about counter-terrorism is more to do with intelligence gathering here in this country, not the personnel being there to effect whatever it is. And when you look at it, even from the reports we got following the killing of those farmers in Maiduguri.
Yes, in Haram.
You found that there was a situation whereby, like, there was an agreement between the military and the terrorists. Okay, look, you can operate within this.
I mean, the farmers, right? The
no,
military
the
and
terrorists.
The okay, or the terrorists and the farmers.
Military. Like, look, the terrorists can operate there. Whoever ventured into this place should seek your permission before you, because what we were told was that these people strayed in, and they have been doing that. They have been farming there, cultivating their crops. Only that this time around, the terrorists accused them of being informants. So over time, you find that, look, there is a demarcation. You operate here, we operate here.
Meaning, what you are trying to say invariably is maybe our security operatives, they are aware that from certain parameters.
Like, because what they were saying was that even at a point, if I could remember, there was somebody was trying to say, yeah, the farmers strayed into the area.
Could that be an indictment on
well, it could be, because from the reports we read was that, look, the farmers strayed into the area. Then the second report was that the terrorists accused them of being informers. But in between, we have had like an impression that these farmers have been there cultivating their land and harvesting and doing it. And this is not the first time it happened. You remember, I think a year or two ago, they went to ban the harvest of rice.
Yes.
Somewhere. So why?
In fact, in 2013, it happened around Malte.
So it has been a recurring.
In the same 2013, dozens of locals were killed around Baga.
So it has been a recurring thing,
yes,
which we are yet to find a solution to it. Maybe this may be a solution.
Yes, Dr. Sani, I want to...
In addition to what he said, please, before we escape, I've never seen a funny country like Nigeria. Imagine, just recently, negotiations taking place between Kaduna State government and bandits. So if you say the military have some sort of agreement or arrangement with terrorists, it's not something surprising, because it's already in the open that the government draws themselves so low.
But remember, you said beyond kinetic, there should be non-kinetic element. That's maybe what Kaduna said. That is not
negotiation. You can't negotiate. How do you negotiate with bandits? How do you negotiate with terrorists?
So what is the non-kinetic approach?
I mean,
what is non-kinetic?
Non-kinetic approach is to get themselves to understand their activities and their movement, where they are getting to their supplies, block all those areas of supplies. For instance, what ended Nigerian civil war wasn't guns. It was blockage of supplies, hunger. So
that's like non-kinetic.
Non-kinetic, yes. When the moment you get to know their supply, their routes of supplies, and you block all those routes, no, you just sniff them out like you smoke them out as if you are smoking out rats. But you don't have those connectivity, you don't get the network. So, and Nigeria, for all intent and purposes, is one of the most porous countries in the world, because we have 1,050 borders on man. So you cannot even manage influx of arms and ammunition that are coming into your country, and the movements of people and their intentions. You can imagine the Lukrawas, the way they came into Sokoto and Zamfara, Sokoto Kebbi axis. So anybody can just come into this country and get away anytime he wants to go. So we must have an agency, as he insists, that will make sure that all those aspects I've been looking at 247, every minute, every movement. During these holidays, the government tried to extend hands of friendship to Nigerians by making sure that they cut down transportation costs. And for that reason, they declared rail transport free. Now, when I traveled on this road 3 times, I studied the kind of movements that was going on, and I realized that we are going to have problem of attacks after the Yuletide period. And this is what is happening. And I raised an alarm before all these attacks started happening. I raised the flag, red flag, on televisions, on radios. So we must have, we must be proactive in the approach of security operations.
What do you think we must do? Because you mentioned it earlier, that the way these terrorists are killing our soldiers is really demoralizing, not only to the soldiers themselves, but their families and even citizens, because at one fell swoop you take 30, 20, 15, and elsewhere killing one soldier is as good as killing like 100 people. Because they are specialized. Of course, every life has serious value, but then they attach a lot of preference to.
The investment of each military is very heavy, and when you look at that, the premium on the life of a military is a very superior premium. And so for a country to be losing its military freely like this, it doesn't make any sense.
So what should be done, Yusuf?
Well, we'll go back to the drawing board probably, because we have had situations like that before, and they'll make an announcement. You remember at one point the Minister of State for Defense moved to Sokoto, and to say that he will not come back until the Korawa and the bandits were defeated. He's now back in Abuja. But we need to take this thing much more serious than we are doing now, in the sense that we need the confidence of Nigerians. The moment, and you see, the problem we have, luckily now for us, this is beyond the capacity of an ordinary Nigerian. In situations whereby it's an ordinary thief, people will lynch that person. So you have a situation whereby people are taking laws into their hands. I don't want a situation whereby people will say, look, I need a gun to protect myself against the bandits. Then we cannot control this.
This thing happened at Sambisa Forest, the latest incident. And I recall in 2020, I was among the team from Daily Trust that went to Mina and interviewed former military president Ibrahim Babangida. And we asked him what was his take about the Sambisa forests. Because that time, after the serious fire on them around Maiduguri and environs, they relocated to Sambisa. He smiled and he said when he was in power, he created what we call National Guard.
Yes.
And he took their base to Sambisa.
Yeah.
But there was serious pushback from Nigerians that he actually wanted to elongate his administration. He said he strongly believed that if that National Guard was allowed to remain, because they will not even, you will not see them at all. They are specialized in anti-terrorism. And this was in the 80s, right?
Yes.
Should we revisit him, or will you advise the military establishment to go to Mina to get wise counsel on the establishment of National Guard or something like that?
Well, this is, we are advocating almost the same thing here now, because I have said it much more earlier than even now, that there is disconnect in the security architecture of Nigeria, and that's why we are never getting it right. There should be, when you see, sometimes in 2001, I attended a conference in Musun Center in Lagos where I delivered one paper, and I was saying that if OPC will be allowed to flaunt themselves the way they are flaunting themselves at the time, throwing eggs to buildings and caught fire, and rather of dealing with the situation, they are being romanced by the president at the time, then there's going to be a problem by the time the ordinary northerner realize that if he becomes violent, he will be patronized by the presidency. And then the northerner will be going, the ordinary northerner will be going on the street in the north committing suicide bombing. 2001, I said this thing.
I know, but Babangida said he's on in the 80s. So some of these are still here.
So it's not about your position as a general. It's about what is your projection about your nation? A country, the military or the security agencies should be able to tell us what is going to happen to Nigeria in the next 100 years, and they start preparing from now.
So we have to
that is the kind of thinking cap we need to draw in this country. That we must start planning ahead. We must not be allowed to be taken unaware. We must be ready for any eventuality, because Babangida saw it coming in the 80s, and that was when he started talking about National Guard.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much.
He was misunderstood.
I wish we have more time, but we have less than 7 minutes to wrap up. But something very important is ongoing in Abuja, the 2-day national conference on strengthening democracy in Nigeria. And today, a session was convened on building viable political culture and political parties to foster competitive politics. A number of people spit fire. Atiku, of course, he said, it's like Nigeria's democracy is facing existential problem. And then you have El-Rufai, who actually blamed opposition parties for not uniting to, boot out at initial, even before Tinubu came in, because they said opposition parties were compromised to have elected Tinubu in the first place. This was what El-Rufai said. I'm trying to paraphrase. But Yusuf Zango, Atiku, he said Nigeria's democracy facing an existential problem. Do you agree with him?
Oh, it didn't happen or start this in 2025. I think it started since 1999. Because by the time Obasanjo came in, he tried to work towards getting a second term. And what he did was to break every opposition. And you saw how Obasanjo was changing chairmen of the PDP, even within his party. So the Ado Obes, the Solomalas, every one of them got a taste, a bitter taste or pill from Obasanjo, and he continued. When after he won the second time, he wanted to continue. So, and the issue is made worse by the fact that the Nigerian politician wants to be in the ruling party.
No matter what.
No matter what. So the politics, Nigerian politics is bereft of principle. And we will continue along this line.
Dr. Sani, is there a nexus between our inability to get it right in terms of economy, in terms of security, in terms of even social investment for the people? Is there a nexus between that and the inability of ruling and opposition parties to have ideology, as Zango said?
Well, Zango has already said it all, because where there is bereft of ideology, and what is there is what comes to my pocket. Greed, avarice is what we are seeing today.
Yeah.
And that is what is killing our economy, killing our political system, killing our security system, killing everything in the country. Everybody has this perception of myself, and my family. And so the nation is tailing behind. There is no clear commitment to patriotism, to sacrifice for the sake of this country. Apart from the military, I rarely see anybody that has already put his life on line for the sake of this country.
Maybe you and me, and then Zango, and those people watching us.
Not any of the politicians.
There is Zango.
You can see Trump. His maiden speech as after being sworn in as the president of the United States of America. You could see that compassion, that passion, to take back America, that love for one's country. Yeah. This is the passion we don't have in this country. This is that compassion, this is that patriotism that is lacking within our political class.
Talking about politicians, moving cross-carpeting, let me use the parliamentary term. Do you think if Tinubu and El-Rufai do not part ways, do you think they will make he will make the statement he made today? Because he said, of course, political opposition parties must come together to take it away from Tinubu.
This was the same El-Rufai who was all over in 2023 before the election to support Tinubu. And the good thing about El-Rufai, you could mend fences with almost everybody within a short time. So we wait to see. But to be honest, I'm looking at the message, not the messenger. What he said is true, but would they be able to do it? That's the fundamental thing. How do they do it? Would they be able? Do they have the conviction to do it? Because now there is no difference between. Actually, you don't have PDP. PDP is
a Labour Party.
Labour Party is almost the Labour Party, PDP. NNPP, they all have
There is also this allegation.
And there is an allegation that
almost all the political parties have been induced.
And there is an allegation that most of these things are caused by the presidency. But I don't even buy that idea. If you have principle, nobody can compromise you. So I don't. Definitely, President Bola Tinubu would like to come back, and he may do whatever he can in arms of politics to get support for his second
term. Dr. Sir, let me have your final words on this. Don't you think it's so dangerous? The democracy, I mean, Tinubu's tenure is not yet 2 years. He has like four months to clock, meaning 2 years. But it appears that 2027 has already started. Please say this in less than 1 minute.
Well, that is what the game of politics is all about.
But who is paying the price?
Well, the citizens, we are all been paying all that.
Then now who will counsel the politicians?
Well, I think the citizens should, if they are serious, because they hold everything.
Okay, this is a very long topic.
The power to the people.
The conference continues, meaning that we may likely be here again to see what other participants at that event will say. Dr. Sani Aliyu, Commander General, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization. Thank you for coming to the program and for your informed perspective on all the topics we raised. Yusuf Zango, Opinion Desk Editor, former Editor-in-Chief, and then our in-house analyst. Thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics, airing every weekday on our special package on Friday and on Sunday, during which we open the telephone lines for you to comment on national issues. From here, thank you for being with us. I am Hamza Idris.